Hi, this is Samir Zulfikar and you're watching Social Sciences.
Today we are going to discuss about relationship of anthropology and other social sciences. One of the main differences between anthropology and the other fields that study people is holism. Anthropology's unique blend of biological, social, cultural, linguistic, historical, and contemporary perspectives. Paradoxically, while distinguishing anthropology, this breadth is what also links it to many other disciplines. Techniques used to date fossils and artifacts have come to anthropology from physics, chemistry, and geology because plant and animals remains often are found with human bones and artifacts, and anthropologists collaborate with botanists, zoologists, and paleontologists. As a discipline that is both scientific and humanistic, anthropology has links with many other academic fields. Basically, we can say that anthropology is a science, a systematic field of study or body of knowledge that aims through experiment, observation, and deduction to produce reliable explanations of phenomena with reference to the materials and physical world. Besides its link to the natural sciences, for example, geology and zoology, it has also links with social sciences and humanities, including sociology, psychology, literature, history, etc. etc. Here we are going to discuss the relationship between anthropology and sociology. Anthropology mainly focuses on pre industrial societies that are less developed, whereas sociology is concerned with industrial and complex societies. In anthropological research, unfamiliar cultures are chosen by the researchers to avoid any kind of biased knowledge production, whereas sociologists prefer to work in familiar cultures. Anthropologists use participant observation as fieldwork technique for qualitative data, and sociologists use questionnaire to gather data from the research field. Anthropologists do comparative analysis of different cultures, whereas sociologists rarely attempt to test their generalization cross culturally. Anthropologists are interested in people's ideas and beliefs as well as their social relationship, and they usually remain neutral about their findings. And if we talk about sociology, sociologists tend to investigate social relations and often give suggestions to improve problematic situations. Although we have discussed a lot of differences between both disciplines, but still there are few scholars which consider anthropology and sociology as one. It is said that social anthropologists are sociologists as well, but there are once something less because their focus of investigation has on the whole been more restricted and something more because they are not only concerned with social relationships but other aspects of culture as well. Redcliffe Brown also says that anthropology should be renamed as comparative sociology. Now, if we compare history and anthropology, we can say that history provides basis for anthropologists. The historians are more interested in particular sequence of past events, and anthropologists are certainly interested in understanding the present conditions of culture or community which they are studying. But the two disciplines have a close relationship. Although we also have different opinions about the relationship between anthropology and history, such as Redcliffe Brown denied that history had any relevance for anthropology because he thinks that history dealt with unique events and scientific study of past is not possible. Evans Pritchard says that anthropology is not a generalizing discipline but instead a branch of history. Last but not the least, Franz Boas in his work included historical inquiry as a central feature of anthropological investigation. So, this is all about the differences between history and anthropology. Now, let's discuss the relationship between anthropology and economics. Economics focused on particular institutions and how the production, consumption, and distribution of economic goods are taking place. Economic anthropology is a specialized field And economic anthropology classifies the diversity of economic systems into different types at different technological levels. Anthropologists find such categories as hunter and gatherers or band economies, pictorial economies, hoe and forest cultivators, sedentary cultivators, and so on. Some of the economic system of small-scale societies may be found strange and without formal economic value to economists. If the people happen to be hunter or gatherers, the notion of hard work is likely to be misinterpreted. In Western culture, hunting is a sport, hence, the men in food foraging societies are often misperceived as spending virtually all of the time in recreational pursuits, while the women are seen as working themselves to bone. To understand how the schedule of work or demands of a given society is balanced against the supply of goods and services available, it is necessary to introduce a non-economic variable, the anthropological variable of culture. From this vantage point, social anthropologists vary from economists since they examine this area of human civilization in relation to non-economic factors including social, religious and political factors, whereas economists research economic behavior and institutions solely from an economic standpoint. Anthropology basically focuses on individuals and groups. It talks about relationship between individual and society. Anthropology contributes by providing cross-cultural data. Statements about human psychology cannot be based solely on observations made in one society or a single type of society. The area of social anthropology, known as psychological anthropology, studies cross-cultural variation in psychological traits. Margaret Mead, Ruth Benedict, and other attempts to find out different patterns and psychological traits among different cultures. And psychology study mind and human behavior. The subject matter focuses on relationship between brain, behavior, and subjective experience of an individual. The primary focus of psychology is on the development and operation of unique human minds. The study of various group structures and forms is of a particular interest to social anthropology. Its units of study is society. It seeks to understand various societal forms as well as their purpose, structure, history, and evolution. But society and its structures are not primary focus of psychology. It is fascinated with the behavior of a particular individual. In general, social anthropology focuses less on the people themselves and more on the culture and social structure in which they live. However, the person and society are inextricably linked. Thus, the subject matter is almost the same but with the differences in emphasis. Political science was created to study a specific area of human behavior. It also mostly works in developed societies. Politics typically do not stand out as distinct activities to separate investigation in small scale cultures, whereas social anthropology developed as they do in contemporary society. As in small scale societies, individuals are submerged or embedded in the general social order. There is no formal authority figure. People generally follow orders of their kin rather than formal leaders. Edmund Leach, a British anthropologist, states that power is the most fundamental aspect of all social life and therefore central to anthropological endeavors. Political anthropology, a late specialization of anthropological research, attempts to transcend particular political experiences and doctrines. It studies man as Homo politicus and seeks properties common to all political organizations in all historical and geographical diversity. Social work is a practice-based profession that promotes social change, development, cohesion, and the empowerment of people and communities. Applied anthropology also encompasses its series and multidisciplinary approach to solve the practical problems. Cultural studies is a combination of sociology, literary theory, film, video studies, and cultural anthropology to study industrial societies. Next, we talk about anthropology and its relationship with literature. Literature is used in ethnographies, and ethnography as text, narrative, allegory, and true fiction is the new approach in anthropological research. Both oral literature and written literature is considered as a very important part of ethnographies. Oral literature consists of myths, narratives, epics, lyrics, praise, poetry, verbal texts of songs, riddles, oratory, and dramas. Whereas if we talk about relationship between anthropology and public health, we can say that public health is science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organized efforts and informed choices of society and individuals. On the other hand, we have the field of medical anthropology, which studies the relationship between anthropology and medicine in a very well documented way. It talks about popular medicines, it talks about folk medicines, it talks about popular therapies and related rituals. The role of anthropology is to bridge the difference between culture and practices of public health. Next, we are going to discuss about the relationship between anthropology and policy and governance. From the beginning, anthropology plays an important role in a policy making process. That is the time in which we have colonies. But now approach is different. Anthropology contributes in social policy research, practice, advocacy in different ways. Anthropology of public policy as a separate discipline engage in research of policy issues and processes and give critical analysis of those processes. Last but not the least, we are going to discuss about the relationship between anthropology and management sciences. Like anthropologists, management practitioners attempt to make sense of human behavior related to business. Like they are engaged in knowing demographic trends, technological innovations, and how increasing globalization is impacting the whole corporate sector. Social issues, organizational change, are the major trends in which anthropologists can also perform their efficient role in making business flourish and can bring change in institutions because they use keen observation method, participant observation, and participant observation is the key tool which help anthropologists to better understand the institutional dynamics. So this is how anthropology is linked with other social sciences. This is all about today's lecture. If you have any question regarding this, you can comment in the section below. Thanks for watching.